Always good to see some faces popping in. Beautiful faces. Love it. Love all your company. Love it. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all looking after yourselves. Hope you're all doing what you want to do in life. Because if you're not doing what you want to do in life, what's the point? What's the point of doing life if it's not what you want to do? I've met a lot of people in my life, and I've heard a lot of people in my life, and I've listened to a lot of people in my life, and the amount of times people have said, one day I'll get there, I'm just doing this for now. They're not doing what they want to do, but they're doing something for the time. I'm doing what I want to do, but I have a really big problem in life. Big problem. One of my biggest problems in life, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of my time, is trying to get these stickers off. Like, I can't, for the life of me, prepare a sticker. And you think that, some people have worse problems than others, but I just can't get these stickers off the thing they're stuck to. And yeah, it's not what I want to do in life, this part, but it's part of life. Part of life is getting the stickers off the part that it sticks to. And so it shall be. Stickers take a lot of time. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a few things. I've had a lot of people asking questions about what I'm doing. Would you believe it? I got the sticker. No, I didn't. Look at that. I got it. 3 minutes later. Probably 5 minutes actually. So I'm doing what I want to do in life. And I really hope everyone else is also. I really hope everyone's doing what they want to do in life. You probably can't see that because it's backwards. But so is the way that many people are living their lives. So why am I doing what I'm currently doing? It's because it needs to be done. Some things need to be done. Some things need to be done and others don't want to do it. Other people don't know how to do it. But we all want to do something that we want to do. And I remember when I was younger, every time somebody asked me what I wanted to do, I wanted to be a pasta chef. Because when I was a little kid, I loved pasta. I wanted to be a pasta chef. That's not what I want to do. Growing up and realizing what the world's about, the last thing I think the world needs is a pasta chef. I don't even think pasta chefs exist. So the biggest problem in my life is that I don't just have a problem putting these stickers on. I got these other stickers. It's probably backwards to you all. External use only. And I'll tell you one thing. There's certain things I can and can't say. But I'll tell you one thing. These stickers, they just don't want to go on the bag. I don't know what that's about. They just doesn't want to go on. Every time I try to put these stickers on the bag, external use only, they just don't seem to want to go on. So I'm like, do you just not want to go onto that bag? Or are you trying to tell me something? Are you trying to, like, am I just looking into things too much? But these external use only stickers just don't seem to want to go on the bag. So legally I have to put them on there, and I've got to be really careful about what I say, because I could get into a lot of trouble. But if you do things that you want to do in a certain way, you can do it. But these stickers, they only have one way. There's no two ways about them. It's just they're stuck and you've got to unstick them and then stick them. So, yeah, some things I want to talk about. Some of you tuning in right now probably don't want to talk about mushrooms. Too bad. Let's talk about mushrooms. Let's talk about mushrooms. A room that you might go to by making mush. But I can't say too much because I've got to be careful. And I'm sorry that you have to watch me for this video doing these stickers, because if I have to do it, I might as well do it with some good company. So a really interesting question that I've been getting lately is, what is the difference between Amanita Muscaria and Amanita pantherina, or pantherina? So they're both the same species, and they're both very beautiful medicines. We can't say that one's been around for longer than the other. However, the pantherina is a lot stronger, roughly about twice the strength, for external use only. And these stickers just don't want to go on the bag, but I put them on the bag. I'm not trying to say anything because it's for external use only, alright? We need to know this. And I can play with words. I can be cheeky. And 2021, I'm going to be cheeky. I'm going to play with words. And I don't know how long I'll try this sticker for. My wife does all the stickers, but I thought, you know what? Like she's the one that tells me, she's like, don't. Just leave it up to me. Like I'll do the stickers. And I'm like, I'll do one, and then I just don't know why I even bother. So pantherina has twice the amount of muscimol, which is what is converted from the ibotenic acid. So a lot of people talk about becoming sick from, or hearing stories. I love stories. It's got to be a good one though, and it's got to be a true one if I'm going to tune in. Most of the stories are just repeated stories, and we always hear these stories about people getting sick from muscimol poisoning, or fly agaric poisoning, or fly amanita poisoning, Amanita Muscaria poisoning. And sure, I believe that people have been sick from doing such a thing, but once again, I got to be careful with what I say, but I heard that if you don't convert the ibotenic acid into muscimol through a heating process, you're likely to get nausea and feel sick. So when it's done the right way, you will not have that problem. Apparently. I wouldn't know. I'm not allowed to know. Or maybe I'm allowed to know, but why would I be allowed to talk about it? So pantherina is a very beautiful one. The reason why I charge for my products is because of these stickers. They take about maybe 20 minutes each product to put a sticker on if I'm doing it. So it's a tough life. Life's hard in the sticker world. Other than that, life's pretty great. So yeah, I wanted to just talk about a few things regarding what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And the biggest thing I want to talk about is who they are. Because who I am and who they are not everything's there to be used without being able to use you also. I couldn't think of one thing in this universe, couldn't think of one thing in existence that isn't a two-way exchange besides the television. Television's an interesting one. When I was a little kid, me and one of my friends, we used to just walk around the neighbourhood, Peregian Beach, Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. And his name was Adam too. And we were always known as Adam and Adam, or Trouble. Like, we used to get up to quite a lot of mischief. And I just always thought it was strange, the idea of people watching television. I'm still trying to get this sticker off too. See, it just doesn't want to come off. This sticker doesn't want to be on the back. And so we'd walk around the streets, and this might sound strange, but, you know, just little kids, like 10, 11, 12, and we had nothing to do. So we'd be looking through people's house windows, and I said to my friend, I was like, watch these people, like watch them. And we'd sit there watching them, watching the television. And I'm not exaggerating this at all. Like, their faces, just glued at the screen, would be like, ha! And I'd say to him, I'd be like, just look, man, watch. Anyways, like, we'd watch for 5 minutes and we'd be on our way. And so I never forgot that from my childhood. I never forgot how strange people were watching these televisions. They were already strange. Something happened in their life. Call it programming, call it the dividing of their mind, whatever. But yeah, it was just always strange. And then I found out about another type of television later on in life. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that there was something out there that grew in nature. Lo and behold, that something connected to what I once was connected to would snap me out of it. And what can I say? It's a two-way exchange. And one thing I wanted to talk about, remembering that I've got to be careful what I say with what I'm doing. reindeeramanita.com. Help yourself. Two-way exchange. So a lot of people, they go down the path of something like this and they expect something. And it comes from a very programmed way of thinking, a way of being. What can I get out of this? But what can it get out of this? What can you both get out of this? Because, once again, I can't think of anything that has... that does not have a two-way exchange. So I meet a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that just think that there's some recreation there, that they can get something from it or through it. And the only thing I can say is, if you try that with that mind, you are in a lot of trouble. And I know a lot of people that have had bad trips overseas, going on a plane. I know a lot of people that have had bad trips, and I know their type of mindset. And when you use a medicine like Amanita Muscaria or Amanita pantherina, and you look at it as though you are superior to the being, you'll get your ass kicked and served to you. And you'll never forget it, and you'll call it bad and it's not for me. And be careful, because when we see the jungle, as inferior to us. She is so powerful, and she will show you what you need to be shown. And a lot of people, like when you drink a glass of alcohol, you know what to expect. You know what's going to happen. Most of the people in jail are in jail because of alcohol-related offences, whether it be hit and runs, murder, violence, stupid things that they've done. Most of the times I've gone to court was being drunk in public, pissing in public when I was drunk, or doing things that were related to being drunk. And alcohol comes from the Arabic word al-kul, which means flesh-eating spirit. Because when you consume something, you're working with it. We have this ideology that we're the one using it, but we are working together. And spirit, it doesn't matter what corner of the globe you live on, it doesn't matter where you come from, it does not matter where you come from. Spirit is always something that can take host. And there's a reason why it's called dark spirit. There's a reason why people are in jail and in regret because of something that they've done through alcohol. So I'm not here to talk about alcohol. I'm still going on this sticker. I'm still going on this external use only sticker. And like I said, it just doesn't want to go on the bag. It doesn't want to go on the bag. So what do you do when you don't know what to do? Because when you take something or when you do something without an understanding of what you're doing, you need to know what you're doing at every moment. So you can't just go and get something and hope for the best. She doesn't even like that. She doesn't appreciate that. She really likes to be asked questions. And I heard, apparently, because I've got to be careful with what I say, I heard that she puts you to sleep and shows you things in your dreams. But I wouldn't know. So a lot of people expect something to happen right there and then. It's just so you know, from someone that I heard, that might be true. Who knows? Might not be true. So I know that when we're growing up, go down to the local child playground, and what do you see? We see Amanita Muscaria everywhere, like the little toys in the park. All of the video games when we were children, like Nintendo video games, like Super Mario. Nintendo, if we look at the etymology of the word Nintendo, Nintendo means it came from heaven. And people think Nintendo came about in the 1900s. Nintendo was making tarot cards in the 17th century. And is it a curiosity how the first ever Nintendo game was about earth, wind, water, fire, sacrifice, ritual, ceremony, and creation and destruction? And then you go and look at every Nintendo game ever created, and it's always got that theme of ritual. And even all of our card games from when we were younger, for a long time, were just ritual. And when you're playing a card game, it's all about sacrifice. Most card games actually have a pile that's called the sacrifice pile. It's all about give and receive, but we really don't look deeply into what the meaning of things are. However, Amanita Muscaria and similar substances of twice the strength, Amanita pantherina, has this connotation of danger, surrounding it. But even the word Amanita etymologically means connected to protection. So I don't know if it's trying to show you something there. However, if we understand language, we can gauge the land. If we understand wordsmithing, we can understand the craft of who's formed this whole society around us. Name any religion on the planet. Every single one of them, the Messiah of that religion, was depicted as the Amanita Muscaria. So, danger, be careful, be full of care. Though, if Amanita means connected to protection, how careful do I need to be? So she doesn't give you an expectation. There's no expectation. She works differently with everybody as a medicine. And everybody's had different things happening in their life. Everybody's had different scenarios play out in their life. So they're not going to have... It's not an alcohol. It's not modified marijuana in the sense that you know what to expect. You can smoke a bong and order pizza and then go to bed. It's in a class of its own, because she shows you she might show you what you need to know in preference to you and who you've come from and where you are today. Apparently, I don't know. I can't be sure. I've got to be careful, because our product is for external use only, and we have to put it on all of our products, because forbid anybody that comes to me asking for a product for internal use that's illegal for internal use, because I want nothing to do with that, for the protection of what I'm doing especially. But we all make our own choices in life, and that's the wonderful thing about life, is we can do what we want to do without any intervention from those who tell us what to do. So yeah, I really want to promote Amanita pantherina. She's beautiful. Very feminine medicines, and you'll see what I mean when you take that road. It's a journey, just to rub some on your skin, because it's for external use only. You're all very clever people, so Melissa, it depends on where you are. In not such a long time away, the United Nations is looking at formulating an amalgamation of all nations on Earth, so that every country has the same legal standards everywhere on Earth. And do you think that we're moving into a world, Melissa, where everything that's good is becoming legal now? Everything's looking like that. It looks like we're legalizing this and taking prohibition off that. But if you know where they're actually moving us, if you know that what they're actually doing is behind the scenes putting bills into action that illegalize collection of rainwater, that illegalizes home growing production for you to be able to feed your family. I'm not just talking about one country or another, because things are very different for now, but when you know that they're actually moving us all the same way, don't you think it's interesting how all of the health ministers on the planet right now are getting kicked out left, right and center, and all these new guys are stepping up? Don't you think that's interesting? It's almost like they're all working for the same people, because they are. And what do they want? They don't want anything. What does the organization behind the scenes want? And someone just commented NWO. Backwards, that means own. And they created these acronyms. And so I've talked in previous videos about everything being ritual. There's nothing that I look at that's not ritual. Everything is ritual. Even the way that people conduct their lives without acknowledging the ritual, they're all living ritualistically. And someone just commented, all the new health ministers look anything but healthy. Most are transsexual. Everything is backwards. Well, I remember once, one of my friends sent me a video on Facebook, and I opened it in Messenger, and it was a video about, how do I say this without it being my last ever live video, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I opened the video, and the video was how pedophiles own, what's the biggest video domain on the internet? That one. Own that. So I clicked on it, went to YouTube, and then it booted me backwards and blocked me from Messenger for like 2 weeks. And I was really angry. I was like, well, that makes sense. And so anybody talking about this sort of stuff, like, you can talk about the New World Order all you want. The New World Order started 200 years ago. We need to know that. We need to know that the New World Order, order of the world began hundreds of years ago. Oh, they're planning the New World Order. It's already here. These are just later stages to bring it to... Yeah, exactly. United Nations in French means one. And so, who created the United Nations? Why is the UN founded by 5 men who, like, one of the head ring runners of the original United Nations, when it was the League of Nations, he was the president of the Psychic Research Society of America. Psychic Research Society? That's bullshit. I don't believe in that psychic stuff. These people are more aware than anyone could fathom. And I got really interested in this sort of stuff. I was like, really interested. I had a lot of people around me. When I was younger, my mother, when I was 12 years old, she pointed to the sky, and there was a plane leaving a line in the sky. And my mum said, "See that line in the sky? Watch." So I watched, and 11, 12 years old, 10 years old I even think I was. I had nothing to do with my life but to sit there and just watch the line in the sky. And that line in the sky got thicker and thicker and thicker. Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. Beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful place. And the line just got thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. And then there's a broadcast on the radio. I didn't take my eyes off this cloud system. Like, it wasn't a cloud system. It was just, I saw the plane attached to it. And there was an announcement on the television and the radio that severe storm warnings were forecasted. There was no clouds anywhere, but this one cloud just got thicker and thicker and thicker, and then all of these particles started accelerating magnetically into that core of a cloud system. And I didn't take my eyes off this system for 6 hours, and I watched it turn into a severe storm. So I was pretty aware of all this sort of stuff when I was younger, but this wasn't the first time they were doing this sort of stuff. Been doing it for a long time. For those of you who live in Australia, you go to Woolworths and Coles. That's the name of the 2 biggest franchises where people buy their foods. Woolworths. Has anyone heard the saying, You're only worth the wool on a sheep's back. Woolworths. Coles, the original name for Coles, like 70 years ago, look it up. New World Coles. That's what it was called. And Coles, Coles, same spelling, in Latin means penis. It's their joke. Don't worry, like there's a method to their madness, but there's not much to ours. So, while we're being laughed at, 20% of the world's pokie machines are in Australia. Ding ding, sound, light, they know what they're doing. 20% of the world's pokie machines are in Australia. And guess who owns both of those 20% shares? Woolworths owns 50%, Coles owns the other 50%. So the two major food sellers are not only selling poisonous food, however, they're sending everybody broke. So while they're channeling people's wealth for poisonous food, they drain it down the drain through pokies. Just sitting there poking it. Gambling, because it's game bling. It's bling. Money. Game. So pokies sell. Gambling sells. It's bling. It's gambling. And isn't it interesting that the trio of economics is the dollar, the US dollar, the United States dollar, the Japanese yen, and the euro. If you actually go to your phones, you've got the symbols in there, because you might not all be able to draw them correctly, but put the dollar sign, then put the euro, and then put the yen, and you'll see the word sex. That's the trio of the world's economy. Sex. Sex sells. But Adam, don't you think just you're thinking into things too much? No, I'm not. I think into things as accurately as I can. And the more I know, the more I can grow. So, yeah, it's just something that you can do with economics. Is you can see that the truth is written into the symbols. So, euro. Why is it that all of these countries in the world are slowly reforming to the euro? Who is Euro? What is Europe? Who is Europa? Europa is Isis. And Isis is the moon goddess, and the dollar sign is the symbol for Isis. The oldest symbol for Isis, Mon-Ni, is moon. I've talked about this in my previous videos. But yeah, it's not that the New World Order is coming, it's already here. We've been asleep for a long time. I haven't been. But it's to each and every person to ask, like, how much do I know and how much more could I capacitate to know? We all have infinite capacity. Infinite. Do you know, mainstream science? Science is the Greek word for knowledge. And everyone that looks at the scientific community classes it as knowledge. But it's not. It shouldn't be called science. It should be called speculation. Because it's all based on speculation. Millions of years ago. Millions of years ago? Millions of years ago. Please don't take what I'm saying as like the be-all and end-all of truth. But if you believe the lie that we've been around for millions and millions of years, if you believe we have been here since we were like these, if you believe in the homographic evolution where we came from like this ape shape and the back just started to become straight and then we went to work, you gotta wake up to something new, because reindeeramanita.com. Do it for yourself. Let the power of nature take you back into her arms. Don't be scared. Just do your research. Search. It's not always about research. Research means repeat searching what everybody else has already searched. Search. Do your own searching. Research, but search. Always search. Always look for something. Don't just look through other people's somethings. So, yeah. The main point I really wanted to make was that Amanita, reindeeramanita.com. Go there. Tell all your friends about it. Do it. Amanita does not like to be used. She likes to be acknowledged. She is a conscious, living being. Amanita is a conscious, living being. She is alive. And I've got to be careful of what I say. Oh, I was doing my stickers. I've only done one sticker. Fuck, what am I doing with my life? Fuck. Now my wife's got to do all these stickers tomorrow. Poor thing. So, the whole thing I was going to do for this video was I was just going to sit here peeling these stickers off and show you guys how it can be a misery, but I put my heart into it. I put my heart and soul into it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Because it is what it is. And this is the hard part. The easy part is using it and allowing her to use you. I hope you're all doing really well. And above that, I desire you all to do so much better and to I want everyone to connect back to what they're scared of. Put your feet in the ground, put your feet in the soil. Next time you go to the forest, if you don't even go to the forest, next time you go to the forest, do not leave your shoes in the car. Do not put your shoes on in the forest. It is not respectful. It is not respectful in any way. Forest. Look at the word. For rest. How do you rest when you're not grounded? How do you turn on as a device when you're not grounded, when you're not a complete circuit? Isn't it interesting how in Indigenous Australia, they do what's called the frog dance to bring the rain. No, or someone said this to me once, no, they don't bring the rain. They danced in the rain. Like, that's what they wrote in the history book, that they just dance in the rain. Like, who doesn't want to dance in the rain? However, they brought the rain to where rain was destitute, where they needed rain for harvest. They did the frog dance. And guess what mainstream science comes out with 5 or 6 years ago? Turns out that the sound of frogs brings the rain to the forest. I knew it. Yes, another addition to the notebook. So, do you know what they also said like 2 or 3 years ago? Turns out that fungus calls the rain. So, natural medicine versus alternative medicine. What we call alternative medicine is what we call natural medicine. Western medicine, natural medicine. But the word alternative means alter, native, altering the native state, which is Western medicine, because Western medicine alters the native state, and the natural state is the native state. So if we go to the native state of the plant, we can use her. And she has a code. She has a code in nature. So as to say, if these fern trees, particular fern trees, are the shape going all the way down to the roots, look exactly like the central nervous system in the human body. And what's the Western medical system using that for? They're using it for central nervous system depressions. Did you know that depression is short for depression of the central nervous system? Why don't we use the whole title so that we know what it is? What's wrong with the nervous system? What is wrong with the nervous system? Why are you so nervous? A really old guy told me once that there was no cases of recorded anxiety until they put the Vietnam War on the television. Body piles stacked up, missiles hitting the ground. People were starting to think, oh my God, like that could come here. What happens if that future comes to me? People really started to think about what it might mean to them to be living in this turmoil. And that's what it's all about. So many times in my earlier life, people told me that I needed to live in the now. I was like, I'm now. I'm living now. I'm in the now. But I know what that means now, because reindeeramanita.com. If you knew what I knew, you'd be doing what I do too. And these stickers are not easy. I don't know if you guys know something about stickers like that help my job a lot. That would be great. Like, I'd love to have a better sticker system. I don't even want to use stickers, but it just looks so nice having a sticker on your product. And it's not even my product. I'm just the medium. It's the product of nature. And how did I come across doing this? Great question. I'd love to talk about it. I would love to talk about this. But remember, I'm not a doctor, so I legally can't give any recommendations. So be careful with your words, Adam. So I've, for a very long time, known a lot about anatomy and physiology and natural medicines. But I was one of those people as well that just walked on past those red cap mushrooms, just admiring their beauty. And in herbalism, in herbcraft, one of the main functions of knowing what the plant is used for is how you perceive it in your body. There's taste, there's feel, there's the environment, there's whether it grows in water, whether it grows in dry land or midland, like half wet, half dry, whether it's a summer plant, whether it's a winter plant. Like, there's a reason why all of the best healing modalities in the plant kingdom thrive in winter. All of the natural modalities that heal colds and flus are plants that grow in extremely cold environments. And so stickers. Nature, nurture. I wrote a post not long ago about my acknowledgement of the forest, and I really feel it. I really feel her. I never just go into the jungle to use her or use it. I never go into the forest and say, oh, that's what I needed. It's what she needed. She needed that. One of my friends, we were walking down the street one day in the city quite a few years ago, And he said something that just really shook me. He was like, and he was a really spontaneous guy. Like, he would just come out of nowhere with certain things, and I'd just be like, fuck. And it really hit me. It really hit me hard. And he said, like, there was a gum tree. It's in Australia. There was a gum tree just sitting by itself in the middle of the park. And he said, see that tree over there? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I reckon that tree's really lonely. I was like, what makes you say that? And he said, well, I just don't think many people would go and say hello to it the way that we used to. And I was like, yeah. He's like, and I think that tree's really sad. I was like, of course it is. Like, you know, and now they're starting to come out. Like 20 years ago, if you talked to someone about this, they probably wouldn't call you again. They wouldn't ask you to come around for a cup of tea. And when their wife asked you to come around for a cup of tea, they'd say, oh, we're going shopping or whatever. Like, there'd just be some way to distance you because you know something different to what they know. And so, yeah, we really need to stop using substance or medicine as a one-way terminal, because she's two-way, and your body is a computer, and you're allowing her to come to life through you for what the world needs. B12 deficiency. How many people talk about a B12 deficiency? The only people that I know that have a B12 deficiency, the only people I know that have a B12 deficiency are not people on a plant-based diet. Most of the world is B12 deficient. Go to your doctor. B12 deficiency. Do you wear shoes? Yes. What is B12 is the question. B12, we've got to stop using these fucked up numbers that the scientific community give us, because it just overcomplexes what the design is. So B12, B what 2? Just B1, B12, 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 be back in nature, B12, be with me. So B1, B12 is cobalt blue, or cobalamin, which grows in the first density of the soil. So while everyone's running around saying they have a B12 deficiency, they actually have a cobalamin deficiency. What is cobalamin? What does it do? What is the use of it industrially? So cobalamin, or cobalt blue, is alive. And what is it used for? Cobalamin, or cobalt blue, the main use of B12 or cobalamin or cobalt blue is in lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. Cobalamin is used for rechargeable batteries. So, are we rechargeable batteries? Are we battery devices? How do we view the anatomy in the Western paradigm? We view it as something that wakes up and goes to bed and off to work we go again. Every time people asked me if I worked, do you work? Like, yeah, I fucking work perfectly. Like, doing real good today. Do I work? Isn't it a strange question? Only through programming is one of the first questions that we ask somebody what they do for work, or if they work. That is mind control. If one of the first questions that you ask people when you meet them, what do you do for work? You are under mind control. Don't take that lightly. Take it so heavily. Take offense to that, and you might desire to make a change, because one of the first questions I ask people is, what do you like? Are you into plants? I don't give a fuck what they do for work. I wanted to be a pasta chef when I was a kid. What do you do for work? What do you do for slavery? What do you do forced slavery. And what do you do for money? Because, you know, we're living in a money system now. What do you do for money? So I worked for the Australian Taxation Office a long time ago. I worked for Telstra in residential and then worked into business, and I was on like $9,000 a week. Such a corrupt industry, and it really corrupted my spirit. I worked in insurance in multiple areas, and I worked in areas of insurance where I could talk about what darkness was happening in these places. And I could even just do another video on that one day, but I wouldn't waste my time. I wouldn't waste my time on doing a video for the ATO, the Australian Taxation Office. When I worked there, they wanted me to work in collections because I was good at what I was doing. And I told them I don't want to do that. And they said, well, the purpose of you being here is because if we need you somewhere, then you might want to fulfill that obligation to even be paid more, and then you have a job. I'd be like, well, if you want me to go and work in collections to collect money from people that haven't paid their taxes, I won't be working here anymore. So came to that day where I wouldn't go into collections, and I had friends that were working in collections in that job, and I would watch them on the phone. I would watch them go in to collect. But what the Australian Taxation Office does is they wait. Oh, you think you're so clever with the tax agent? They know everything. Do you know Telstra is Australia's biggest telecommunications provider? And what program do they use to store all of your information? Siebel or Legacy. Same program, same MS-DOS backed program. And then what does the ATO use? Siebel. Same program. And guess what the Australian Defence Force uses to collect all the information for people? Siebel. So while you think that the New World Order is coming, all the information's there. I better get onto these stickers while I'm here. I've got a lot to do. So I come from somewhere, like we all do. We all come from somewhere. And what do certain experiences do to lead us out of there? I wasn't going to take people's houses from them. That's what they wanted me to do. So what the Australian Taxation Office did was they make sure that you've built your fence around your house, you've paid your cars out, you've paid your house off, and then they come and take it all. They'll wait until you are very comfortable because your assets are going to go up in value, and then they collect it. So while you think you're free for 10 to 20 years, you won't be. That's how clever the tax department was. And if you believe that tax is to build surplus areas, like to infrastructure design and to rebuild roads and city lines and things of that nature, in the 13th century, the Pope of Rome declared income tax, 10%. And that's where the saying in the Bible comes from, possession is 9/10 of the law, because 9% of what you had was your possession, but the Pope taxed 10%. So that never changed. And our minds believe, not mine, we believe as a collective, that our tax money goes to build these things. It doesn't. There's separate surpluses set up for that. And you know how we've all got welfare in every country? While I'm at it, you know how we've all got welfare? Think of the word welfare. Well. It's a beautiful word when you're well. Fair. When things are fair, that's very well. It's good. It's great. When things are well, it's great. When things are fair, they're good. So welfare implies that it's well and fair. But guess what? It's not. So when you're born, as you're born, assigned under duress by your mother to the papacy of Rome through the consent of Queen Elizabeth, Her Majesty, the corporation, each hospital sells our birth certificates for $6 million each, and those generate interest. Those birth certificates are worth about $6 billion by the time you're 50 years of age. What are you talking about, mate? I have no idea. Write down your birth certificate number. Don't take your birth certificate into a New York Stock Exchange office. Write down your birth registry number. All birth certificates are different, but they all have a registry number. Registry. Regis means belonging to the king. If you register something, if you sign a registration, everything that's registered becomes an asset owned by the royalty. Because regal means king. Registry means belonging to the king. So what we forgot was that everything that's registered belongs to the king. So where do we fit into this? Because where does the word birth certificate come from? Because when you're going out the canal and you go into birth, that's what a ship does when it pulls up to the dock. So when the ship goes into birth in the canal, so when the ship goes into the canal, it goes into birth. That means the ship's stopping. Birthing a ship means stopping the ship. And then when you get off the ship, you need to supply a certificate of manifesto showing how much, in document form, you're bringing from one country's economy into another country's economy. That's called a certificate of manifesto. And Adolf Hitler, under the papacy of Rome, he was an operative of Rome, he said that every single person moving into the new world must have a certificate of manifesto showing how much they're bringing into the new world. So where does a birth certificate come from? Because when you're birthed out the canal and you pull up to the dock, the doctor, and he gives the certificate, what does it mean to be registered to something? Because I thought it was just so that I could do commerce, so that I could have a bank account, because if you don't have a birth certificate, you don't get a bank account, you can't get your tax file number, you can't sign up with a phone plan. So why is it when you go to court, you don't walk through the doors of the courtroom, you go through the gates of the courtroom? That's what it's called. They're not called doors. It's called the gates of the courtroom because the ships don't have an entry door, they have a gate. And so what are we doing when we go to court? You're facing the judge. You're in the dock. You're facing the judge, and you've got the prosecutor next to you. What is police? Because police is where the charge is, the magnetic charge of the planet. And the police are the ones who charge you. And what does it mean? Why are they called copper? Why do we call them coppers? Because copper is conductive of charge. And they give you a fine, and you think it's fine. See how they use words? Welfare, so you think it's well and fair. They give you a fine so that you think it's fine. So while the charge is at the ice at the poles, the pole ice are giving you a charge. And what does it mean? Why do the police have the watermark down the side of their vehicles? Because we're under maritime admiralty law that was changed over in 33. They changed us over from law of the land to maritime admiralty law. And maritime law is law of the high seas. So if you own the book that the judges have, that book shows you what the word person means. It shows you that a human is someone that doesn't own land. Someone that, if you look up the meaning monster in the Black's Law Dictionary, every judge under the Bar Society is the British accredited registry. Every judge under the Bar Society, they have this book. They have the Black's Law Dictionary, the Book of the Moors, the Moorish people, where Dracula comes from. Yeah, kind of gone a little bit off topic there, because all I wanted to do was talk about mushrooms, the mush that you make, and the room that it takes you to. And a good slave is a slave who doesn't know that they're a slave. Good one, brother, and it's very true. A good slave is a slave who doesn't know that they're a slave. And what can you do to realize how much of slavery you're under? Not to promote my own products, but they're not really my products. They're grown in the jungle, and they grow for you. They don't grow to just look and appear as something. Reindeeramanita.com. Don't ask me any questions about internal use because I will not answer them. And yeah, I love you all. That's why I do this. I don't do it to be the center of attention. I don't do it for any reason other than to hold some knowledge and go, well, if I talk about everything being in circuits and everything being sporadic, at what point do I keep attaining information and not keep it flowing? Got to get it out. The more you talk knowledge, the more it comes in. If you don't already talk knowledge, if you hold knowledge, if you've watched my videos and you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you keep your mouth closed and you don't talk to anyone about it, you are blocked and you're not in a circuit flow. You got to keep going. You got to keep it rolling. You got to take the wisdom, bring the wisdom. Take the wisdom, bring the wisdom. Because if you keep eating and you don't take a shit, what's going to happen? You got to keep the cycle going. Nothing good comes from something that's not in flow. So yeah, going back to maritime law. Maritime law. What is the Australian Indigenous word for water? Mari. Murray. Murray River. The Mari. Who's Mary in the Church of Rome? Mary, the mother of the divine immaculate conception of the divine waters. Always dressed in blue. Maria. Look at all the words. Like, that's where maritime comes from. Maritime comes from Mary. She is the keeper of the blue of the water. The birthing of consciousness. If you believe that Muhammad, I got friends who are Islamic, if you take that story literally, if you believe that Christ, Dionysus, any of these people that have the prophet, if you believe any of them got what they knew in the power of wisdom and knowledge without Amanita, you're wrong. You are wrong. And do you think I knew what I know now without this? I don't want to call it a substance because she is alive. Like, I'm not a substance. I'm divine. I stand alive and I stand in the truth. And do you think that she doesn't do the same? I posted this in my story. I posted a picture of this in my story. I've never been banned from writing stories. I got banned from posting a picture of this on my website in my story because it was against the community standards of regulated goods such as guns, murder, and violence. And we are all made to believe that this is dangerous. And you think that Christ, consciousness, 33 years of age when he died, 33 vertebrates in the spine, up until the pineal gland. And when you're in the cathedral, and they tell you all rise, talking about the rising of the oils. How do you rise the oils when they're so thick? How does your oil, your spiritual oil, go upward, up the spine, the Ida and Pingala? How do they go upwards when all you eat is bread? So if you think that Christ truly had bread and was handing out bread, poison, look up alive bread, live bread. All the ancient cultures were making live bread with Amanita. And you can do what you want with it. But one thing I will say is it's kind of like a door. And you open that door, what might she show you? Because I've got to be careful what I say. But it just looks like a door, you know? Just looks like a door. Reindeeramanita.com. Do it for yourself. Do it for her. Because it's just for external use. For external use only. Because I don't. Just rub it on your skin. That good old body rub. So, yeah. It's probably been my longest live. I don't even know. I let time pass me sometimes when I'm having a good time. And yeah, I hope someone got something from this. I truly feel that I don't feel like I'm alright, but I feel like I'm surrounded by troubled times. And I'm here to assist with that. And I'm not scared of anything. Don't be scared. She's so beautiful. And I say that with my heart. And you know, the last time I used one of these, I was such a naughty boy. The last time I used something like this, such a naughty boy. But I'm not a naughty boy anymore. I'm a good boy. I'm a good man. I want to be a good man. And I want to do the best that I can for my humanity. So go to reindeeramanita.com because through her, she brings life. And it's not called the herb of immortality in every culture for no reason. So be careful of what you say about who that can hear. Because she feels. Yeah. Someone just asked, how much do you put on your body? What I understand is everybody's different. Everybody has different chemistry. Start small. Always start small. Always start small. I know people who say, no, just use a lot straight away and just go straight through the door. No, never. When you don't understand something, don't ever do that. Always start small. Little bit on the skin. If you get what I'm putting down. Because she'll show you whatever she wants to show you. And yeah. Tea recipe. Only for external use. 2021. Call that the tea. The 2021 tea. Energy test. What are we testing for? Everything's energy. Energy in a chi. So, I never run out of things to say. Ever. Ever. And what am I going to say now? Reindeers. Let's talk about reindeers. Reindeeramanita.com. Go there. You have to go there. Check it out. Don't be scared. I'm not doing it because I'm scared. So reindeers. They're such beautiful animals, aren't they? I love reindeers. Love them. I love reindeers. Here in Lithuania, we've got lots of deers, lots of does. Doe, a deer, a female deer. They're always running across the road here. Isn't it funny how they're called antlers? Because they're not antennas or anything, but we'll call them antlers. Why do you think all of these animals have these extrusion points coming out of the third eye, the first eye? It's the first eye that forms in the brain when you're in the womb, because you download all your information there. And when do I believe all the corruption will stop? If it will. The corruption will never stop. And potentially the corruption should never stop, because without corruption, we don't know purity. So I'm not saying that we didn't come from a utopia and that we can't go back to it. But what I'm saying is there's always going to be that balance, and I'm not here to change that. I'm just here to move more people to the right side, or they can take the wrong side. Why do you think in Freemasonry the floor is black and white? Because you can step on the black tile or you can step on the white tile. It's up to you. People talk about Freemasons being bad. No, they're not. No, they're not. You choose your path. You get to choose your path in Masonry. The word in Spanish, Freemasonería, means children of the light. Black light, white light. You can stand with a foot on both tiles. That's a terminology of Masonería or Masonry. So as long as you've got your feet on the white and the black tile, the corruption will never stop. As long as there's black and white tiles, where do we think the game of chess came from? The game of chess comes from Masonry. And you build a pyramid to protect your kings and queens, and you use the pawns to sacrifice in the war. Same thing happens in real life. Life is divine, but society is a Masonic game of chess. I don't think the corruption will ever stop, but I think that we will become more comfortable with our own worlds. I'm not here to change anyone's life. I'm just here to make things better where I can. And I'm here to do what I need to do. And what I feel like I need to do, I feel like I need to feel like every time people say to me, why do you think we're here? Well, let's look at our senses. What can we do? We can look, we can smell, we can taste, we can hear, we can feel. That's what we're here to do. It is as simple as that. That's why we're here. Yes, we're here to question corruption. Yes, we are here to question what is going on. Without the question, we wouldn't have an answer. We wouldn't have a quest. But with those senses show us that we are alive and we are here. Our purpose is to be divine witnesses and to bear witness to the divine aspect of all that is. That is no wishy-washy bullshit. That is the truth. The reason why we're here is to witness the divine in every aspect of all that it is. And creation, if you believe in evolution, you're gone. Like, it might not even be time for you to come to awakened state to find out the truth of where we're actually being taken to. Why do you think they're called creatures and not evolutions? Everything is by design, perfect duality, and nature has her own way of building equilibrium as much as possible where possible. So you won't see rain and sun 50-50 every day. It's just where it's possible, where it's needed, there will be that balance. And so where's our balance? Because everybody that's in chaos, they created that. They are the choice of that. They chose that chaos. When I go outside every day, the sun and the moon, they do the same thing every day almost. Everything's in perfect balance is my point. Every single thing, astrologically, is in perfect balance. 1 year later, comes around, the zodiac does its full turn. So everything's in perfect balance. Where are we if we're not in balance? We need to connect to the cycles. So the corruption will never stop because that is not what astrology is about. And astrology is about cycles. And until we see things in terms of cycles, we'll never understand the power that rules over the contract law system. Because they're astrologers. And they gave you astronomy to keep you away from astrology. If you believe in astronomy, don't listen to anything I have to say. If you're interested in astronomy, don't listen to anything I have to say. Nothing. I don't want you to listen to what I say. You need to go back, do a lot of research. The things that I talk about, I'm here for the people who are quite awakened. And I'm not trying to blow any whistles or look how awake I am. Most of what I talk about you probably won't understand, and you need to return to the Garden of Eden. Eating. You need to return to the Garden of Eden. Why are we in the state that we are in today? Because we don't have balance. Every single person accounts only for themselves. And when I figured that out, I stopped going to the nightclubs. What is a club? Something you hit someone over the head with. What's a bar? Something you can hit someone over the head with. And all of these people are like, they go home and they're like, next day they're like, oh, it feels like I've been hit in the head. Because you went to a bar, or the bar went to you. Or you went to a club and the club went to you. I would never go clubbing. I'm not in any clubs. I don't want to be in any clubs. Those clubs aren't even worth being in. Did you go to the club last night? I'm not in any clubs. The nightclub. I don't want to join the club of nights. I'm good. I'm all good. I don't need that in my life. I did when I was lost. I thought I did. Stop drinking alcohol. Oh, one thing I wanted to say, I really needed to say this for whoever tunes in.